Lowe's is my new go-to destination, where I can explore the latest innovative Craftsman products, including their new V20 power tool battery platform. The Craftsman's V20 cordless power tool lineup features a high-capacity lithium battery that's part of Craftsman's interchangeable battery system. It works with all the tools in their V20 lineup, giving you the runtime you need and the power you deserve for the latest Craftsman products. Visit Lowes.com/footballers. Lowe's is the new name of Craftsman.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from Draft.com Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Oh, Foot Clan!
Hey!
I'm a little out of breath.
Hey!
I'm a little lightheaded.
Merry Christmas!
Is that Dick Van Dyke?
I don't know.
Welcome into the Fantasy Footballers Podcast Wednesday, December 26th. Oh, your stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that a Foot Clan title.
Was there.
And it was for you, Jason.
Oh, it was. I mean, they said it couldn't be done. They said Brooks can't be beaten. But I killed him with
you
kindness.
mean yourself.
Yes, but by me, I mean myself.
No one else was saying that.
I killed him
Mike.
with kindness and
Brooks killed him with kindness, too. He scored about half the points he scored.
I was going to say, I also beat him a lot with the points. So that was fun. Hashtag Foot Clan title.
Oh, welcome in. Congratulations to everybody who brought home a hashtag
Yes.
Foot Clan title.
Hashtag clap, clap, clap.
I was getting
A
to it.
lot of tweets out there. Love seeing them. The amount of people out there.
I've retweeted very, very, very many tweets from Foot Clan title winners. And if you start getting your Foot Clan title t-shirt from shopballers.com, which we know many of you have picked up, I want to see pictures on Twitter. I will retweet any picture that I see.
I am tagging the heck out of Andy with my new picture lineup.
If you have
And I
a Foot
expect
Clan
these
title
retweets.
shirt, if you have a Foot Clan title shirt, and you're wearing pants, I will retweet you.
Oh, he's
If
not
both-
going to retweet me.
He's a shorts guy.
Shorts or pants. Shorts or pants. If you have clothing on below the waist,
All right.
you'll get a tweet.
Incoming underpants.
Shirtless for sure.
Great. Oh, yeah. How do you wear a Foot Clan title shirt without a shirt, Jason?
Oh, I got the mug.
Yeah, you got the mug.
Shirtless with a nice cup of coffee.
Shirtless with the mug, and you'll definitely get
I was imagining
retweet.
a Red Hot Chili Peppers situation.
Oh yeah.
YouTube.com/fantasyfootballers. You can follow us all extended bye week. That's what we call the off season because we
Yes.
keep recording. This doesn't go away whether you want it to or not.
Yeah, take that.
Take that podcast app in your pocket.
We have so much
You
fun.
can't control us.
So much fun in the off season, and they are valuable shows as well for fantasy knowledge and like growing in game theory and things like that. It's a
They
great
know
time.
this.
And
They
more
know
importantly,
this. It's all the rage.
more importantly, the footies. The footies
Oh,
are coming.
man.
Next week, the Monday show, December 31st, the Footy Award nominations. Thursday, the Footy Awards. Then we have shows every Tuesday and Thursday from January
Wait, is the show on Monday?
through is what show on Monday?
Did you say Monday?
He did say Monday. It would be Tuesday.
Well, next week is Monday's December 31st.
Yeah, I don't think we have a show that day though, Brooks.
Oh.
We don't know when we have.
I'm almost positive we don't have a show that day.
It'll be another Christmas miracle when the
Why?
show shows up.
I know we don't have one on Tuesday, right? New Year's Day.
New Year's Day. No, I don't think we have one New Year's Eve.
Who knows?
We'll
Nick,
find out. Check
get-
your podcast.
Check
app.
your pocket. You'll find out. We'll figure it out.
I don't know what's
Either way,
happening.
we'll have footy nominations and awards next week. And look, if you have a question for Week 17, if you're playing in a Week 17 title game, you have to start every question on Twitter with, sorry, I'm in a stupid Week 17 league, but, and then follow it up with your question.
But Andy,
Yeah.
I'm so sick of you guys bashing us Week 17ers. You're gonna lose me as a listener.
Okay. All right. Well, look.
We're just
if
trying
you're-
to help.
If you're in week 17, that's why we're still here. Otherwise, we would have taken the whole week off.
That is a really
So we care
solid
about
point.
you. We also realize that you are just one person in your league. You may not have control over the archaic rule set.
Yeah, I said.
I
this
don't like
before.
the people who say, "Well, you might as well play week 17 because it's all random before week 17, anyways."
Yeah, that's dumb. That's
Enjoy your Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's not very random this week. He'll be on the bench.
we're
most
here.
likely.
We're here for you.
All right, it is Wednesday. We've got Pump the Brakes. We've got the Weekly Rewind. We've got Studs and Duds. We got Rising Stars. We're going to jam-pack this show. Got to make up for a weekend of fantasy football action. So let's start with Pump the Brakes.
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Ow! Pump the Brakes with O'Reilly Auto Parts, the final Pump the Brakes segment of the season. And my Pump the Brakes of this fine gentleman has nothing to do with his talent, ability, or my insane jealousy as a Cardinal fan, knowing that Baker Mayfield is a quarterback for the future of the Cleveland Browns. But I'm going to pump the brakes on you know, the thing is about Baker, Mike, he is good, very good. And we should have all known this because anybody who is a walk-on starter to Oklahoma
Thank you.
has something special that lets you play in Cleveland. But we should have known this, but he's got great pieces around him. He really does. He has a good offensive line. He has a great running back in Nick Chubb. He has good wide receivers. He is currently seemingly well coached. I'm pumping the brakes on Baker for Week 17 matchups. He's playing Baltimore in Baltimore.
Ooh, is it
And
Baltimore?
Baltimore
You.
cares, too. Baltimore needs to win. Baltimore needs
Yeah.
if Baltimore wins, they're locked up. They're good to go. Because Pittsburgh can only get in, I believe, if Baltimore loses and Pittsburgh wins. So
Yeah, and much to the chagrin of many fantasy owners, Baltimore just showed what they can do to their quarterback against Phillip Rivers. Right, Brooks?
yeah.
Come on.
I feel like hashtag Right Brooks is going to
Hashtag
go
Right
through
Brooks.
this entire
jeez.
show.
Once we get to a certain section.
Oh, okay. The duds?
So there'll
Is that
be-
the – yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll jump in here. My pump the brakes. This one's also a little bit dangerous because the production has been there for running back Gus Edwards from the Baltimore Ravens, but we are in the 5th consecutive week of his snaps dropping down to 37%. I get it. He was fine if you started him this past week because he started the game with a 40-yard run, and then after that was used sparingly. They have no equity in him, and this is not necessarily a Kenneth Dixon support over here. I'm not saying that the complete change is happening with Kenneth Dixon, but you have Ty Montgomery there as well. It's just, and it was a very positive game script for Gus Edwards. They could have just ran him, got him back to that 20 total carry mark, but they did not. So I have my concerns for Gus Edwards moving forward.
I mean, you have to look at that backfield as more than a 2 or 3 man rotation
Because of
Lamar
Jackson.
Jackson's a part of
Right.
it too. So
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah, I'll say this because I believe it. I love Gus Edwards. I'm not worried at
I
all.
like
So we
the player.
disagree on this
Yeah.
on this pump, but that's why there's 3 voices here.
Yep.
My pump the brakes this week is painful to my heart.
You're going to do this on possibly the last game of his career?
I am.
You're a monster.
I am a monster, but I don't want to play Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald had what a lot of people interpret as we still don't know if he's going to play another year or retire, but he had his final home game of the 2018 season. It was a great game. He performed admirably.
Threw an oldest wide receiver in history to throw a touchdown.
Yes,
You're
throwing
pumping
a
the brakes?
touchdown to David Johnson. And the reality is that was his last home game. He gets up for home games. We've seen that. I've talked a lot this year about the home road splits for Larry. The crowd fuels the old body. But he's
I don't
going
think
on
it's
the
his
road.
last game, Mike. I think he's back.
You do?
Absolutely.
I hope you are correct. And that could be true, certainly. I mean, everybody thought it was his last game last year at one point.
And the year before.
Right. He will never retire.
He's like the band Kiss. You just reunion tour after reunion tour.
That's fine with me. I
The
mean, not the
seventh
kiss,
final
not the
tour.
kiss part, but the Larry part.
But he's going on the road in Seattle, And unfortunately, he does not have Baker Mayfield. He has Josh Rosen. So I'm not rolling with Larry Fitzgerald in Seattle in my championship week.
All right, that was Pump the Brakes with O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
Breaking news.
How is that possible?
This just in.
Oh, yeah.
This just in. We do have a show on Monday. We do have a Monday show.
Oh, how could we doubt Brooks?
I mean, Brooks looked so disgusted with me when I questioned it. But then I realized that was just at his own team. And I don't hold it against him.
Hashtag right, Brooks?
So next week, goodness, next week, let's lay out the schedule. Monday and Thursday.
Correct.
Okay,
that's what it is. We got a Monday and a Thursday.
Usually it's Tuesday, Thursday, but next week because of the holiday, we're going to put it out on Monday.
Because of New Year's Day. So Monday, footy nominations. Thursday, footy awards. Settled.
Weekly Rewind.
That's settled. Hashtag right, Brooks?
Right.
Good to go? You'll be here? All right. Marcus Mariota didn't finish the game on Saturday due to a stinger injury. Stingers are going around. It's like they're contagious.
Yeah.
Eckler had a stinger.
They got to stop letting scorpions on the field.
That's not what a stinger is, Mike. This is why This is why we turn to medical professionals.
Me.
That was actually just a bad joke. That's what that was.
It was decent.
Now, news has come out on Marcus Mariota this morning that he talked about how his entire right side is numb. They have signed another quarterback. He's not going to be playing this week, which is bad news for everyone. I would say even including your #1 player through the fantasy championship weeks, Derrick Henry.
Speaking of terrible news for my dynasty team, Ian Rappaport reports that Philip Lindsay, who was injured and left the game on Monday night.
Who was supposed to be fine and play next week.
He has a possible scaphoid fracture and ligament damage. Could have to have surgery. He faces a lengthy recovery. They say he could miss the majority of the offseason program, but be back for training camp. So it's not good, though, when you're a rookie
and you're
coming off of an injury. So it's really not the way you wanted to end the season.
It's not just that. He's going to have an entire new coaching staff.
Yeah, you're right. So Matt Breida, his season's over. He aggravated the sprained ankle that has always it's aggravated once a week since week 5, and then Dante Pettis is done for the year with an MCL sprain. That's good news because when Dante Pettis went down, you were worried about ACL. You were worried about something a little bit worse than a strain. What else is going on here? Eric Ebron, concussion.
Yeah, we haven't heard any updates on how he's progressing through the protocol, but obviously if you're in a Week 17 championship, a lot of people are going to be there with Eric Ebron. We'll keep you posted.
Tevin Coleman left the game with a groin injury. Day to day. Hopefully you're not counting on him. Ryan Kelly left with a neck injury again, the Colts center. This is unfortunate.
And it affects their running game a lot. And then you have how crazy that Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, this was awful.
Yeah.
And Demaryius Thomas, now on separate teams, both went down to season possibly career-ending. I don't want to say it, but possibly career-ending Achilles tears.
Jermaine Kearse suffered an Achilles injury in Week 16 against the Packers. Equanimeous St. Brown exited with the head injury. And then the Panthers have placed quarterback Taylor Heineke on IR with an elbow injury.
That sucks, man.
I really like that kid.
Yeah.
So, Jags benched Cody Kessler in favor of Blake Bortles in the second half of Week 16.
Oh.
The final log in the dumpster fire that is the Jags season.
What are you doing? I mean, why is it taking until Week 16?
Stream of the week this week, Blake Bortles. Do it.
For you
You're
to
in Week 17. Do it.
Hold on.
Some men just want to watch the world
Let's
burn.
see if I still have this in here somewhere.
We'd never bench that.
I got a snake, man.
He's back.
He's got a great matchup against the Texans.
I mean, it's really a matter of
He does.
you're shaking your head.
Oh, the Texans.
That's a good matchup.
No, it's not. It's not a good matchup. Just because their secondary is giving up points, you realize they give up points when the quarterback is competent enough to escape the pressure and chuck it downfield to a good wide receiver. Blake Bortles is – I mean, between him and Kessler, the reason they waited this long is because both of them suck.
Because they had to go back to Bortles.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
It's not like Kessler's good enough.
You're
It's
ready
just,
for it.
Gurley, Lamar Miller, Spencer Ware, and Odell Beckham Jr. didn't play in Week 16. They took your championship weekend off. Do not tweet at them. It's not their fault.
Yep.
What else is going on? Do we want to jump into the Stud Muffins?
Yes, sir.
This week's Fantasy Stud Muffins.
All right, well, it took them all season, but Aaron Rodgers showed up in Week 16,
In
37.
a big way.
37 for 55. Not normally. We don't normally hit that drop on the total pass attempts category, but Brooks did highlight it. 442 and 2 rushing touchdowns. That jumped him all the way to QB5 on the season in ESPN scoring.
Wow.
I think that's probably better. I think the overreaction next year would have been on the low side for Aaron Rodgers. He's a much better player than this season showed. But he's not worthy of a second, third round pickup like he was last year.
If the Drew Brees discount comes for Aaron Rodgers next year, I will
scoop it up.
I will probably be all about it.
Let's just I wanted to have a little bit of today's show bending towards next year anyway.
Sure.
When you look at Aaron Rodgers, if he finishes QB5, and you think about the big high-impact quarterbacks this year, which would have been, Patrick Mahomes at the top of that list. He'll be the number one quarterback off the board without question next year. Will Aaron Rodgers go ahead of Andrew Luck next year? Probably not.
Probably not.
I think there's a good chance he does. He's going to get a new coaching staff. It's all going to be the new offense and opening him up, and then you'll draft. I mean, I still think Aaron Rodgers is probably the second quarterback taken, whether he should be or not.
That's probably true. I agree with that.
Yeah, I
mean, Cam Newton ended the year with a dud.
Yeah, nobody's rushing after guys like Matt Ryan,
Russell
Wilson. So I mean, you're talking about, and Drew Brees has really cooled off in the second half of the year.
I think it'll be
Brady has
Luck
cooled
will
off.
be up there.
Yes,
Luck will be up there for sure. Deshaun Watson as well. Deshaun Watson, 29 for 40, 339 and 2, 8 for 49 and 2 rushing. He was great. That throw that he dropped into the bucket. Now Foles let him back down the field to win the game, but Watson pretty much brought them back from a deficit, and it was really impressive to me on the throwing side. QB4 on the season in ESPN scoring. Nick Foles, boy, you love the end of the season.
Saint Nick,
yeah, exactly. 35 for 49 for 471 and
471 yards. Goodness,
that's a franchise record.
Yeah, that's the most passing yards in an Eagle game history.
You said Saint Nick. Did you guys watch Kurt Russell in that Netflix movie with the kids?
The Christmas Chronicles.
Yes.
I really couldn't get enough of him singing in the jailhouse. I thought that was the best part of the movie. Kurt Russell was all about that. Big Ben Roethlisberger, 33 for 50 for 380 and 3. They lost, and now they're on the bubble. I just wonder what Lev Bell's thinking this year.
About money?
Yeah, probably. But I mean, let's analyze it. Let's take a step back from Lev Bell's perspective, just to our perspective. This team, obviously, James Conner's been out for a few weeks, and James Conner, in my opinion, while great, just like Jayden Samuels has been great, right? Not the same thing that your offense has with Lev Bell. And
to be fair to James Conner, Le'Veon Bell was not Le'Veon Bell his rookie season. I mean, the jump that Lev Bell made rookie year to second year was astronomical. I think people forget about it.
I remember.
He was an absolute plotter.
But
the first year.
But the thing is I'm not making the point of what Conner will be. I'm making the point of what this season was for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the gamble that they took in not locking Lev Bell up. Did it cost them a playoff berth?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think Le'Veon Bell
You don't think he makes a difference enough in one or two of these games?
I honestly don't.
Because they win one or two more games and they're in the, they beat Oakland. They're in the playoffs.
It's certainly possible.
I do not.
I tend to think that he would have made a big difference. Pat Mahomes, 48 passing touchdowns on the year now. He was a stud.
Goodness.
Sam Darnold, baby.
Yeah. Holy crap.
24 for 35, 341 and 3. I talked about it heading into the week, how good he looked on film the week before. It was almost as though he broke through the next level.
Yes, it really did look like that.
It did.
It's really great how all these rookie quarterbacks are breaking through. And by all, I mean minus Josh Rosen. Thanks.
Really? You really think Josh Allen broke through?
I just wanted to besmirch Josh
The
Rosen. That was the
Stallion?
only point of bringing that up.
All right.
Apparently, I hit the nail on the head with my Darnold preseason prediction.
Oh,
Well, this was pointed out by Kyle. I had him down for 5 weeks as a QB1, and this was his 5th week as a QB1. So he got it done, and he was even hurt. He's a good player.
Yes.
Everybody but Josh Rosen is a great rookie quarterback. Lamar Jackson,
Yeah, I
Sam
still stand by
Darnold,
Josh
Allen.
I would be so
do not.
happy.
Oh, you have got to be happy with Josh Allen.
Yeah, I completely
I
agree.
mean, he has kept them in games. He's won them games. But yes, from a passing side, the jury's going to be out
would you
on
be
him.
happy with Lamar Jackson right now?
Yeah, his passing is terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe. I mean,
You can't. You have to have the same standard for both those guys.
it's not about the player; it's the situation where the Baltimore Ravens look like they are built they're built to just be a run team, and
yeah, but that's not fair because Buffalo is built to not be an NFL team.
Oh,
on the offensive side of the ball, they're literally built to be like
Josh Allen would sell his soul for the pass catching weapons in Baltimore.
you're right.
Zay Jones is his number one.
yeah.
Isn't that
Yeah.
enough of a story?
I don't know. I thought I saw enough from Lamar's decision making and accuracy when the throw is there, and I'm still seeing Josh Allen making some good throws, but also I was watching Week 16 with Brooks, and there was a moment where I screamed, "Holy crap, Josh Allen!" That was the worst throw I've ever seen because it was a wide open player, no one around him for probably 50 yards in the flat, and overthrew him by an equal 50 yards.
Yes.
I'm not seeing Lamar Jackson do that.
Well, Cam Newton used to do that all the time too. Cam Newton's misses. He wanted
Yes.
them to be big.
Yes.
Big boy misses. I look. The thing is, you've seen flashes from those 4 guys, both for fantasy and for reality.
Yes,
that
that's fair.
you have not seen those flashes from Josh Rosen as
No.
of yet. The only saving grace for Josh Rosen is the story of Jared Goff and Mitch Trubisky. If those two tales of redemption didn't exist, I would be beckoning the Cardinals. I almost wore my Cardinals Christmas sweater today to celebrate the impending
The number one pick?
Number one pick.
Thank you, Raiders.
Um,
That was a great victory you had.
let's pause real quick before we get into running back studs.
We want to thank today's sponsor. You know what time it is. Fantasy Champs Foot Clan. We know you're celebrating those hashtag Foot Clan titles, and you got to get the hardware to match. Fantasy Champs is the place to go for the absolute best trophies, rings, jerseys, whatever you need.
Let's break it down right now. You can get perennial trophies on there, crystal trophy, gold trophy, and then you can grab the newly engraved on metal, by the way.
Yes.
Not some cheap plastic, on metal. You can get the newly engraved plaques each and every year for that perennial gold or crystal trophy. You can also get a ring.
Oh, I got mine.
You can get a ring for
got
the, you
yours?
already
Oh,
got
I
your
got
ring.
my ring. I was Foot Clan champ, man.
Got the order in.
Yeah, I
Nice.
mean, come on. This was yesterday was Christmas.
Yeah.
I was a champ. I go to Fantasy Champs. I mean, this is a no-brainer.
So celebrate in style. FantasyChamps.com. Use the promo code BALLERS. You can save a little bit of money.
10% off.
All right, big winners for the running back position. Jamal Williams had a monster game, 2 touchdowns. Or, I'm sorry, 1 touchdown, but he had 6 for 61 through the air on 9 targets. Kamara, McCaffrey, the number 1 running back on the week. Chris Carson, 27 for 116, workhorse.
And 2, and that the final touchdown with Russell Wilson shoving him into the end zone was was such a hilarious play to me.
Jason, I think I will give the floor to you for the next.
Yeah, C.J. Anderson. You are
heard of him.
Maybe you've heard of him. You are my spirit animal. They say you're low to the ground and surprisingly athletic, as you're a little bit wider than people want you to be.
He's a sturdy fella.
But he's
Do you
good
relate to his athletic profile?
in every way possible. Yes. Look, he's a good running back. I mean, when he played, even in sparing use for the Panthers, he was fine. He was a 1,000-yard rusher last year, and he's been kicked around because, look, he looks out of shape. You watch him run, he looks out of shape. Except nobody can tackle the guy. He sees the lane. He finds the hole. I don't know what else you'd want from him, but he put on a show, and I hope I know the amount of tweets I had saying thank you for telling me to come with you on the C.J. Anderson ride and showing me screenshots of C.J. Anderson in their championship-winning lineup. I mean,
talk about C.J. with Standerson.
Oh yeah, C.J. and I win. Yes, I
Brooks,
do.
do we not have any Monday Pun Day?
Well,
Did you not gather any puns?
Yeah.
I did not.
Well, somebody took Christmas off. Somebody took off Christmas this year.
It was great. C.J. Anderson, you are awesome, and
well, no,
it's a lot of fun.
It's incredible if you the trajectory of C.J. Anderson, and he even had fun with it. He put out a tweet talking about, look, if I won you a fantasy title this past week,
yeah, check out my charity.
Check out his charity, which is cool. And the funny part is just that you go from being cut to being signed by the worst team in football at the time. The Raiders were dead last. To being cut by the Raiders, which is mesmerizing if he is as good as you say, Jason. And then gets picked up and has an opportunity to play in place of Todd Gurley and literally runs with the opportunity. He earned himself money.
He could get a Super Bowl ring this year.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, but look at who the Raiders have gotten rid of. Khalil Mack, superstar. Amari Cooper, superstar. And now CJ.
He was too good.
Anderson, he was too good.
He didn't fit the Gruden plan.
You're darn right. He's like, this guy's great. Get rid of him.
Unbelievable.
What a world.
Elijah McGuire, Monster Week. Damian Williams did it again. Darren Sproles, Doug Martin.
Doug Martin did have a
Krampus.
Well,
21 for 107.
Yeah, it's Krampus season.
Sonny Michel.
Finally, the touchdown and a hundo on the ground.
Didn't you play Alfred Blue over Sonny Michel in some league or something like that,
I did.
Mike?
Yeah.
That was dumb. Saquon Barkley. Barkley's been really held in check. Actually, the end of the year for Saquon Barkley. Now, he'll undoubtedly be the number 2 running back off the board
number
next
2
year.
or 3 pick.
2 or 3. I think in some leagues you see him go 1. I think in some leagues you see him go 3. The end of the year, the last 2 games, were the first kind of glimpse at, oh no, if that offensive line can't open holes for him, his yards per carry were junk over the last 2 games. Now, he still finds a way to get it done, but it was underwhelming fantasy playoff performance by Saquon Barkley. Now, you said he'd go number 2 because obviously Derrick Henry's number 1, right?
Yep. Yeah, you're number 1 guy for the fantasy playoffs.
I wanted to bring this up. You just talked about Alfred Blue, about how Mike played him, and Alfred Blue only had 4 carries.
Yeah.
And a lot of tweets. I think Harmon had found a gem that Matt Harmon had found a gem that over the last 4 years, every December Alfred Blue had a game with more than 20 carries. So everyone was expecting, oh, this is just crazy. He's going to get more. And
it was all Deontay Foreman.
It was Foreman, and so I looked up Foreman's line.
I don't think he had a yard gain, did he?
No.
Oh, he was awful.
7 carries for -1 yard.
Yeah,
awful.
Yeah. Well, and Alfred Blue, in every game in his career that he's had more than 10 carries, his average is 3 yards a carry. He's one of the worst running backs in football.
Yeah,
he is like the if you were doing create a character and you picked running back on a video game and you didn't put any of the points on it, you just had the base. Like 60s across the board, that's very disrespectful. But
it's true.
It's true. Derrick Henry, 21 for 84 and 1. People were disappointed.
Yeah. Yes, they were disappointed with his great finish.
So what is the truth of Derrick Henry? People will want to know, and we'll have a whole offseason to discuss it.
I don't know.
But the truth of Derrick Henry is that, I mean, we watch football all the time. We have got 16 weeks that we have processed and digested. And he didn't look the same the last 3 weeks. He looked different the last 3 weeks to me. I've watched plenty of Derrick Henry. He was more decisive, more powerful. They opened up some holes for him. They had jet sweeps featuring Derrick Henry. So they are being more innovative in their play calling with him. What happened?
Here's the interesting thing to me, it's not just how he looks, but it's the utilization. Because even though he was getting, starts the year with 10 carries, 18 carries, it was still always a split with him and Dion Lewis.
Is that the real problem, is rhythm?
Well, I
I would
know
say so,
if that's
yes.
entirely it, but I do know
It is to me.
that they now see him as the feature back, and that is not – Dion Lewis had been involved all year. In fact, there was a time right after their bye week where you saw no double-digit carries for Henry and, tons of carries for Lewis. But the last 3 weeks they've been winning, and they've been winning on the back of Derrick Henry with a massive amount of carries. So going into next year, I'll project him to have that role because they're winning, they're heading towards the playoffs, but I'm still not going to draft him. Like, he will be fool's gold to me because I don't want the risk of the floor that could come that we've seen, and he'll go around other good backs.
Yeah, it's all going to be about the draft price. Does he end up in the 4th round?
Oh, no. He'll be – I think he ends up in, like, the 2nd round. I really do. Derrick Henry's name, his athletic profile, the carries at the end of the season, I think people will get – there will be people saying he's a top 12 back.
Yeah,
well,
probably.
and there's more to come, right? I mean, if they win, they make the playoffs this week, and then you see more Derrick Henry in the playoff. If he ends on a high, because this is what's amazing to me about the NFL. I am so in love with the NFL, if you didn't know. Because this year we saw the best high-profile offenses we've ever seen, the Chiefs and the Rams. And we have seen the ascension and rebirth of defense with the Bears and Ravens, and then you've seen these kind of strange winning teams with the Seahawks and the Titans. And so you have 3 different different ways to win, right? Like if I looked at the Titans and Seahawks, I'd say they are run-first teams
yes, certainly.
that are sporadic on defense. But then the Bears and the Ravens just shut you down on defense. And, I mean, who wins the Super Bowl? I don't know if it's going to be the offensive
Saints
because they have enough on defense to shut you down, probably. I mean, they'd be my favorite too. Somebody asked me the other day at a Christmas party to pick somebody right now, and I go, I guess New Orleans. But I don't know, and that's what's great about – see, you asked me who's going to win the NBA championship. I can tell you the answer. It's the Suns, the Phoenix Suns.
For sure.
Antonio Brown, welcome to further fantasy lore. Week 16, 14 for 185 and 2 on 19 targets.
Hashtag right, Brooks.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Davante Adams or Antonio Brown, who goes higher in next year's draft?
That's a good one. I think –
I mean, next week, Brooks, we're going to do a simulated first round. That's what we're going to do.
I would love that. That'll be a lot of fun.
That'll be fun. And I think
Davante Adams will sneak ahead because as soon as Juju, people start doing their numbers in the offseason, they're going to bump Juju up. They're going to bump Antonio Brown down a little from his history, and that'll place him probably behind Davante Adams.
Was unbelievably consistent. Off the top of my head, I think he had 14 weeks as a wide receiver 1.
Which is that like running backs do that? The best running backs, Zeke does that where he's very consistent, doesn't have a bunch of dud weeks. Wide receivers don't do that. Antonio Brown, who's the best, the most consistent, he does not do that over his career.
If you believe that Rodgers will have some hype with the new coaching staff and whoever they bring in, then that'll probably translate to Adams. Adams will probably go a spot ahead of Brown, but it'll be close.
Yeah, it will
and
be
Brown
very close.
Vaulted himself into the wide receiver 2 spot.
It's fun that at least there's a conversation now because it was just for 3 straight years it was Antonio Brown. It was like when Calvin was the one. Right.
Yeah.
It's just fun to have some more players in the game.
Robert Woods, big game, 6 for 89 and a touchdown, had a rushing touchdown as well. He's wide receiver 9 on the season. He's great. He's a great player.
I can't wait to draft him next year. He'll be undervalued.
Yes, he will. Hey, Robbie, what's up? Robbie Anderson, 9 for 140 and a touchdown on 13 targets.
I mean, that was a roller coaster of a ride with Robbie Anderson from the start of the week, getting first week of the season, getting absolutely nothing. I think it had the 1 target. It was the deep touchdown, and it was holy crap, you have to bail out from Robbie Anderson. Then he was gone forever, and now he's back,
Here's all. It's not complicated.
and he's the new hotness.
It's not complicated. And by the way, they'll have a new coaching staff as well.
Yeah.
Here's all that. This is all you need to know about Robbie Anderson over the last 3 years. Competent quarterback play, massive fantasy production. That's it. That's the whole equation. It's not complicated. When Josh McCown was competent at quarterback,
Yep.
he dominated. Sam Darnold's been competent the last 3 weeks. Robbie Anderson has shown up. All you have to do is watch the film. He's just like Robert Woods in the sense that the film tells the story on those two guys, and Robbie Anderson has elite talent. His ball tracking skills are elite. He's a good player.
Right. And now there was no Quincy Enunwa again.
That helped too.
Yeah, I mean, Curse dealing with some injuries. Robbie's next his 2019 season will be difficult to project. He will be a Jet. We do know that because they can keep him as a restricted free agent. That will probably translate into some nice soap opera off-season drama.
Did he officially not receive a suspension, or is some of his off-the-field stuff still possibly pending for next year?
That will be interesting to look
I believe he
into.
avoided suspension.
Yeah, I think I remember that too, but I wasn't sure.
Right.
Yeah, he'll be interesting. Doug Baldwin, 7 for 126 and 1 on 12 targets. The highest graded receiver in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus this week. Highest graded in the NFL since week 13.
Thanks,
And
Doug. My fantasy MVP, who crushed me all season.
So
and
it's
now,
week 13. That means he was a playoff superstar.
well, you
sure.
you did make him your start of the week
yes, he was my start of the week
in honor
and-
of his fantasy MVP. And he's certainly the MVP for some people.
Oh yeah, he won.
He won you
people
titles.
championships. The last 2 weeks he's been
Especially because you
probably
grabbed
the
him off the waiver wire.
You know who I don't
top
want to
three
play
wide
in the
receiver.
first round? I don't want to play Seattle.
Yep,
Dallas.
that's fair.
Dallas. You don't want to play Seattle. Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas.
11 for 109 and 1. I consider this some nice redemption for fantasy owners that limped their way with him into the title game. He showed up for you. And then some big kind of anomalous games from Nelson Aguilar and Mohamed Sanu. Aguilar can always do this. If he gets loose for an 83-yard touchdown, he generally has a good game after that. Mike Evans, T.Y. Hilton, some good games. Hilton, he doesn't practice. He just plays, my friends.
Plays hurt.
Just plays. Big tight end week, Zach Ertz, Kyle Rudolph. Hey, Kyle.
Oh man,
This is going to distort his entire season. He jumps all the way to tight end 7 because of 9 for 122 and 2, including a Hail Mary.
halftime Hail Mary that was almost an identical recreation of the Aaron Rodgers throw to Richard Rodgers a couple years ago. It was amazing.
You don't draft Kyle Rudolph
No.
under any circumstance.
Nope.
Jason
Agreed.
is even agreeing
Look,
with that.
I've been the Kyle Rudolph supporter over the years, and no, I completely agree. You can't draft Kyle Rudolph to be your guy.
If you're streaming, we had a couple starts of the week hit this week. Evan Ingram, 6 for 87 on 6 targets. Chris Herndon, 6 for 82 and a touchdown
Big
on
game.
7 targets. Also, another player I really like. I just like him.
Yeah, me
Mark
too.
Andrews, 2 for 83 and a touchdown. Got loose for a deep ball. The profile, the size, the speed. Mark Andrews is somebody to keep your eye on. You haven't seen Hayden Hurst break out. You haven't seen – I mean, they have 16 tight ends, but pay attention to Mark Andrews. I think he will be the one to emerge over time. Let's transition perfectly into Rising Stars.
Rising Stars of the Week.
So I'm going to throw a quick, this wasn't my rising star, but I'm going to say Mark Andrews is a dynasty rising star on the back of that. While watching this last Ravens game and seeing how they used him, the thing that kept running through my head is the way that there were all these snaps where Mark Andrews was not on the field, and they were using Nick Boyle in a way that Mark Andrews can succeed in, but Mark Andrews wasn't on the field. It was Nick Boyle. And Mark Andrews is just significantly better than Boyle, but he's still a rookie. Still, he's got a ways to improve in blocking and other ways. But I just checked, and Nick Boyle he's basically a free agent. He's not under contract. So the dynasty outlook for Mark Andrews.
Well, I think Lamar likes him. I think Lamar's got higher percentage throws to those tight ends in that read option system. And then it does come down to targets, like you said, though. I mean, you're not going to get by with 2 targets. It's just the talent is there. My rising star is Chris Herndon. It's the tight end for the New York Jets. 6 for 82 and a touchdown. Again, competent quarterback play and an athlete that can do everything you need from the tight end position. Herndon looked great. And if they trust Darnold more and more, right now, with what they have on the roster, he's the second best pass-catching weapon. So, huge fan.
Possibly. My rising star of the week, rookie Deshaun Hamilton has been an absolute target monster. 30 targets in the past 3 weeks. Yes, it has not turned into huge success. PPR has been just fine, averaging 7 receptions a game, scored twice in those 3 games. But it's the usage. I mean, this reminds me, not necessarily the shorter plays, but Allen Robinson's rookie year, it was, we need to pay attention to this guy. The production is not there, but the targets are absolutely there. And he's going to be a featured player on this team next year, along with Courtland Sutton. So the trajectory of Hamilton, to me, is moving way up.
And
I feel like
he stayed steady while Tim Patrick kind of fell off a little bit.
I feel like you could make a similar rising star argument for Sutton, even though nobody on this show wants to hear it anymore. But Sutton finally looked 100% healthy. He had a big touchdown. They need a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, those 2 guys are certainly going to be a great future tandem at wide receiver. My rising star, of course, is low to the ground. It has to be C.J. Anderson.
Low to the ground.
C.J.
Wait,
Anderson.
did you mean like low-hanging fruit?
No, I meant
you mean he's physically just like a small little tank on the field?
That is what I mean.
He did look so little.
He
looked so little.
In height, yes.
Yes.
But look, I love C.J. Anderson. I was proud of him. And we don't know
what's proud of him.
Yes, I was genuine. Like, I feel connected to this man.
Yeah.
C.J. Anderson, I don't know if Todd Gurley's going to get another week of rest. I would doubt it, but
I think he will.
I think he might.
If he does, I mean, C.J. Anderson will. I mean, there's no doubt he's going to continue in that role. Just throwing these out there, since we didn't have a waiver wire show. You know, sometimes you're rising not because of what you do, but because of what happens around you. Royce Freeman, Jeff Wilson Jr., those guys are going to be rising stars here in Week 17 because the presumptive starters ahead of them are going to miss the week.
Yeah, no Phillip Lindsay, no Matt Breida. We'll see what Royce Freeman can do with this opportunity.
Yes, it'll be very
I want to see some efficiency out of him. Or maybe I don't, being a Phillip Lindsay dynasty owner. I want to see if he solidifies his backup role or not. Again, the Rising Star is brought to you by FantasyChamps.com. We're gonna, you know, not everybody won this week. Hashtag right, Brooks.
Right, Brooks.
Pooped in his big boy pants.
Jason's title in our Dynasty League was very improbable. I mean,
what are you talking about? It was unbelievably dominant.
No, Mike, you understand this. He was an insufferable man this last few weeks, and it wasn't because it wasn't the grand confidence he went into the season with that made him insufferable. It was the exact opposite. It was the constant.
I'm not going to make the playoffs.
It's the constant fear and you know, doubting, and like he had like an 80-point lead, but he didn't want us to say that he was the title because it's not a 100-point lead. Like, that's what made it so difficult, and he barely made the playoffs.
The last several weeks, I was very negative about my team. I kept winning, and I won every one of those games, but I would be very negative about it, and I stuck with it. I kept winning, and I stuck with it.
You became a very superstitious man. You bought pizza for Brooks, and he ate his way to a defeat.
All I know is my team is set up for the future, and I'm going to go back to back.
Oh, so now you're not afraid anymore?
No, I've always thought my team was good. I was just worried about my quarterback. But Matt Ryan did enough these last couple weeks.
Well, back-to-back's not so easy, I can tell you from experience.
I remember when you were champ.
I remember when I thought I was going to be champ again.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, it didn't happen anymore. What are you laughing at, Mike?
Just how quickly it turned for you.
It did. I had some injuries. Oh, and by the way, I also have Josh Gordon. Yes. All right, duds. It's time for us to share in your pain. It's time for us to, well, it's time for Brooks to share in your pain. That's for sure.
This is great.
Listen to your fantasy football duds for Week 16 championship week. Brooks' dynasty quarterbacks. He has 3 of them. Phillip Rivers, 23 for 37, no touchdowns, 181 yards, interception on the first play and the last play of the game. Derek Carr, 19 for 26. Matthew Stafford.
These are your quarterbacks, Brooks?
18 for 32.
Yep.
Those are his 3
Look.
options.
At least you can take solace in knowing
You didn't make a mistake.
there was nothing you could have done.
No. No.
So
You could have literally played all of your players twice this week, and you would have lost.
Jason, I'd calculate you would have beat me without C.J. Anderson and Antonio Brown. That's how
Well, yeah,
Wow.
it was
crazy my
it
team
was
poops
a whooping.
and yeah.
Honestly, my team also was excellent. I mean,
Now, you did like Tom Brady this week.
yes, Tom. Well, no, I did. I like Tom Brady.
yes, you
Yes,
did.
you did.
I don't remember that, but I
Well-
hope you listened to Mike because Mike hated Tom Brady
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah, it was a hotly debated topic on the show. 13 for 24 for 126 and 1. I guess I'm going to give you credit. There's a look to the Patriots this year, and it's
Looks like the beginning of the end.
it looks like there's some problems with the armor.
Yeah,
Now,
it's the problem with Gronk.
Gronk's done.
Yeah.
Edelman
You're
is
talking
old.
about Rob Champskowski?
Gooskowski.
Gordon is gone. Brady's getting older. I mean, that
There's supposed to be
offensive line
there'll
getting-
be an exodus of coaches too. I
Always
can almost
is.
guarantee you that Josh McDaniels will be a head coach for some other team this offseason.
Oh, Browns.
no.
Yeah. I think
Do you
McDaniels
like
is-
Josh
there's-
McDaniels?
I think McDaniels is a good offensive coach. Yes.
But
That
that doesn't mean he's a good
offensive
head
coordinator.
coach.
I think he's going to be a terrible head coach wherever he goes, and I think whatever franchise signs him is going to make a mistake. And you should know when you sign. I mean, coming off of what he did in Indianapolis, like
You mean when he didn't sign with them?
when he said, "Yeah, I'll be your head coach," and then went, "I'm backing out."
That probably hurts him.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If I'm a franchise, I'm going to go.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm going to. There's other fish in the
Well,
water.
and he struggled in Denver,
yeah,
obviously. I don't know if I want him at the top of my list, but I think he's gone. I think he's gone from New England, and that he obviously works as an offensive coordinator in a big way. And there are coaches that do that. Ken Wisenhunt.
yes,
He's an offensive coordinator. Gus Bradley's the D coordinator in Los Angeles with the Chargers. Ken Wisenhunt's the offensive coordinator. Both of them were bad head coaches,
Yeah.
and both of them make great offensive coordinators on one of the best. No team in football has a better record than the Los Angeles Chargers since Week 11 of last season. They're the best team in football by a margin. All right, running backs that laid an egg. Hey, some more of Brooks' guys. Tariq Cohen, 6 for 12. Josh Adams, LaShawn McCoy, Kalen Ballage, Kenyon Drake.
Oh, Mr. Beehole, he got us.
Beehole
He got us with both of them.
Beehole allows all running backs to struggle. And then Alfred Blue, 4 for 14. Hopefully he didn't have those guys. LaShawn McCoy, 3 for 10. That's not good.
No, the usage of LaShawn McCoy is baffling, especially with the way they're talking about him, saying that he is part of this team. He's part of their future for next year. But is he? I mean, you're going to have to pay him a lot of money, and you're just not using him. I don't know if this is a kind of like putting him in the bubble wrap situation. It's going to be really hard to decipher Shady for next year.
I just pulled up my my dynasty team on accident. Literally, just clicked my bookmark, and I'm looking at it, and I'm going, if I was playing in a Week 16 championship game right now, I've got Todd Gurley with an O.
You mean 17?
Week 17. Todd Gurley, Phillip Lindsay, and Lamar Miller were my 3 starting running backs.
Whoa!
O.
O'Reilly. Pump the brakes.
On Andy's team.
Wide receivers, Keenan Allen. Look, it was going to be a tough matchup. You were kind of backed into a corner.
Yes.
I don't blame anybody.
Nope.
For starting
I
him.
would have played him.
8 targets, 5
Brooks
for
would have as
58.
well.
Brooks would have. He did.
Yes, he did.
And he might have been his best player on the week. Brandon Cooks, disappointing against Arizona. Josh Reynolds as well. Amari Cooper,
This one was shocking
4
to
for
me.
20 at home on 5 targets.
Because his numbers, all of his splits, like his production was coming at home. His production was coming in games they are favored to win.
I think he was trying to help help give us good perspective heading into next year's draft, to not overemphasize the
Appreciate that, Amari.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gronkowski with the goose on 3 targets. So he had one good game and then goosed you in 15 and 16, basically.
This was the
Mike, this is not good.
This was the fitting end to my Gronk season of Gronk with Mike.
Unfortunately, the real truth is you and Gronk were in the same potato sack.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were doing a 3-legged race.
Yeah, I mean,
and we did not win.
Very different heights. It makes it difficult.
I combined the potato sack race with the 3-legged race, and I put 2 people in one potato sack. That is not a race.
Oh, I want to see it. I want
And
to
you
see
with
it done.
Gronk inside of a potato sack. Maybe that's the best actual visualization of the season.
We would certainly follow, or I would follow
You would
over,
fall quick.
and then I would be trampled by Rob Gronkowski, which he did to my teams.
Well, instead of getting out of the potato sack with him early, you believed, and we believed, that he would bounce back to be what he was. And he is another player. We don't know if he'll be back there.
No, if it Gronk's like a goose,
Oh,
this is a goose.
I think it's over.
I mean,
Reading the reports early in the offseason about how, Bill Belichick, if the investigative journalism is to be believed, that Belichick wanted to get rid of Brady and go with Garoppolo and trade Gronk for value. I mean, are you telling me the Patriots wouldn't have been better off?
Yeah, he's a pretty good evaluator of when to get rid of players. Generally.
Yeah.
Not 100%, but generally.
well, you could always tolerate injuries when the recuperated Gronk was better than everybody in football by a wide margin. It's less exciting now. So we'll see. You got a cooked goose because Jared Cook was 2 for 20. Not good. I think that covers the poopers
that
pretty
about
well.
does it.
We'll get into so many more. We'll be bending it towards next year, giving the awards away. We'll do a little mock draft for the first round and see where we have guys slotted in way in advance of next season. Just some quick notes on the playoff scenarios for this week. If you're in a Week 17 games, if you want to know whether teams are motivated to play, because that's really what matters, and who they start, decisions that they're going to make. Look, you have a lot of situations like Dallas where Jerry Jones is coming out and saying, we're going to give it our all. We're going to go all out. I don't believe you, sir. I do not believe you at all. I do not believe that you're going to play Ezekiel Elliott for 4 quarters in this game this week because there's nothing on the line for them of significance. So they can say that, but then you read between the lines with the playoff picture. The Chiefs, Patriots, Texans, Ravens, Steelers, Chargers,
They all need to win.
they all got something to play for. Texans can win the AFC South with a win. The Ravens can clinch with a win. The North, the Steelers desperately need to win and then hope for some help. And the Chargers need to win the West with a Kansas City loss versus Oakland. Not likely. But Oakland has been playing better. We need to give credit to that team. They beat Denver this week pretty easily, and they are playing better to end the season. They also beat Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago. So
you're telling me there's a chance?
I'm telling you that there's a chance that the Kansas City Chiefs are playing in the wild card round. That's what I'm saying.
Madness.
We've
There's
got
also a chance that Pat Mahomes throws 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, that is very true. That's a good point, Jason. The Colts, Titans, they really need wins this week. The Colts saved their season by coming back and beating the Giants last week. A win gets them a playoff spot. Is that true? They could actually win the title, the AFC South title, with a Texans loss. But you miss the playoffs if you lose. Titans, you win, you make the playoffs. So they've got a lot on the line, too, to hand the ball to Derrick Henry for 6,000 to 8,000 times. In the NFC, the Rams lock up the number 2 seed with a win against San Francisco, another team playing pretty well. But you'd imagine the Rams could take care of business. And then the Bears lock up the number 2 seed with a win as well. And Minnesota's playing for their lives.
Yep.
As are the Eagles. So the Vikings, Eagles expect all their players to play. And the Seahawks, they're on a roll right now as well. So any other thoughts on playoff scenarios you want to bring up?
The only other thing I would bring up is there's going to be a lot of questions about the Saints. You know, are they going to play their players? 'Cause they've got everything locked up. A lot of people near the team does not believe what is being said, but according to Sean Payton, if you read kind of his press conferences reports, sounds like they're gonna play everything. They're gonna play it like a normal game. It's just one of those questions like Andy's belief in Dallas. Do you believe?
Yeah, does it happen?
You believe?
Well, and there's so many different thoughts about whether it's beneficial to sit guys or not sit guys. Here's the truth. I think every coach would love to play all their guys through the entire Week 17 game every time, as long as there was no situation where they were the dumb coach that played a guy who got hurt.
Right.
Because it's better to have the reps.
Yes, 100%. It's just
It's risky.
You risk injury.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. If I were one of the teams that were playing with the bye, I would really want to play my guys so that they don't have 2 full weeks off before you come back and play. You know, that would be my take. If I ever get a head coaching job, guys, that's what I'm going to do. And you'll know it. And I'll come out and
I think if you get a head coaching job, you won't be in that situation.
Isn't that how?
Oh, stop it.
To where
If I'm a head coach, I will be fantasy friendly. I won't be Mr. Beehole.
I believe that.
I will keep a separate – I'll have my Twitter, and then I'll have a fantasy Twitter as a head coach.
Yeah, I love it. If I'm a head coach, I will carry one running back on the roster. Each week a different one, of course, but
the rest won't be active?
Bell cow situation.
And
then when he
goal
dies,
line,
the next week I bring
The
a
quarterback
new one
just runs at that point.
Oh,
Sure.
Every goal line play I called would always be a tap pass. It doesn't matter it might be to the running back,
But you want to get the quarterback
but
up.
it will always be a tap pass.
I want to hear more if I were a coach, what you would do for fantasy out
That
there.
could be our New Year's resolution.
Can we get that on
nice.
Twitter?
If I were a head coach in
If
the
I
NFL,
were a head coach in the NFL, I would do this for fantasy football. That's what I want to hear. So, congratulations
yes,
on
cheers,
a
Foot
great
Clan.
season. And if you're in Week 17,
Good luck.
Good luck to you.
We'll be here with the matchups tomorrow.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.